Hey you guys, this is Rafael. Greetings from Tennessee. I hope you're all doing well. I know those COVID numbers seem to be going up. I hope that everybody's safe out there. I've lost yet another friend a couple days ago. Great guy. Been my friend since I was selling relics out of my car trunk in college. I would drive around from people that I knew that collected and would sell stuff out of the trunk, and everything I had in my collection fit in the trunk of the car. He's been there. He just couldn't quite beat the symptoms and the things associated with COVID. Hope you rest easy, Rodney. You were always a good friend to me, and I love you. And I'm thankful I got to tell him that before he went. Told him years ago because he's been good to me. Today we're going to talk about one of the simplest designed and most effective guns from the Civil War. There was a cat named Edward Maynard, and he's a big name in Civil War gun manufacturing, not just because of the weapons that he made, but he also designed a lot of things. And he's the guy, you've heard me talk about him before if you've watched many of these videos, he's the guy that designed the paper roll to try to replace the percussion caps, and it fed up through a mechanical system, kind of like the old cap guns that we used to have when we were little. And if you're one of those teeny boppers, go out and look up antique cap gun and you can see what that is. And on that note, I had a friend of mine and a customer call the other day, and he ordered something, and he said, my son's 12 years old, and he said, he thinks your videos are cool because you make history interesting. And that just meant the world to me, because we need those young people to appreciate their history. So many young kids have no earthly idea that what happened in history and who they were. We were at dinner last night and we were talking about amazing Americans, and I was embarrassed. My daughter didn't know who Jesse Owens was. And I told her who Jesse Owens was and what he did and how he made Hitler embarrassed, because he realized that their supermen weren't supermen. They were just men. And but anyway, so that made me feel good when that guy said that young man was watching the video. So if you're watching, hey, and I appreciate it. I won't mention any names, but I appreciate you, young man, and I hope that you grow to have an amazing love of history. Back to the gun. Edward Maynard, he made actually the primer tape roll for the guns that they started using early on. They used them in the model 1855, and it was a good thing on paper, but as you can imagine, if that paper roll was going through and it got wet or mislined or the spring broke, you're screwed. So it was a neat thing. He made a lot of money off of it, selling it to the government, but it didn't work out too well. So he goes and he makes the carbines. And the carbine short gun, most of the time associated with cavalry. The first model that he made used that used the paper time roll, and they're very distinctive. They will also have a patch box on the stock. This is the second model. This is the classic Civil War version that you expect to see. Known as a second model, easily distinguished because no door to put the paper roll in, no compartment on the stock, no patch box. So simple stock. And that's one thing I love about these guns. He didn't waste anything on these guns. They're just a barrel, a block, a stock, and a butt plate. That's it, which is great as far as cost. It's great as far as manufacturing. The soldiers didn't like them because if you notice that forestock, it did not have, or the front of the gun, the barrel, did not have a forestock. So as you can imagine, if you were firing that a lot, that barrel would get hot. And also, when you break these down, you drop the lever, barrel goes up like this. You put the cartridge in. This is the cartridge. It's a 50 caliber metallic cartridge, still used a percussion cap. So you put the cartridge in, and as you can imagine, that cap might not be easy to get out once it's fired. So you've got a hot barrel, a cartridge you're trying to get out of it, and you got some Southerners shooting at you. That doesn't go for a great combination sometimes, but the guns are nice and simple. That's why they made 20,202 of them, made them from 1863 to 1865. There is a version out there you need to keep an eye on though. It will be stamped right here. You'll have your serial number, and the later issues of them will have model of 1865. And if it has that 1865 on it, it won't bring as much. So keep your eye out for that one. This one has just a real pretty look. You see these a lot of times in very good condition because some of them went to Army surplus after the war. Heard me talk about Bannermans multiple times. A lot of these went to Bannermans. But they're intended for cavalry use. On the back of the stock, you've got this. That's the saddle bar and ring that clipped on to the shoulder sling for the cavalryman so he wouldn't lose it with people shooting at him and he's bouncing on horseback. This one is complete. It's got the 20-inch barrel. Barrel has the standards front sight. The back sight is just a nice, simple, small flip-up sight, and those get knocked off fairly easily. Good to see that one's still there. As far as they did sell some of these as civilian guns, and they did do a lot of variations on them, because if there was a flaw in it that wouldn't let the government take it, Maynard didn't waste it. He ended up, he did some sporting barrels on them. He did some beautiful case sets. You'll see those sometimes. They were actually made in Chicopee, Massachusetts. Actually, Chicopee Falls, Massachusetts, by the Massachusetts Arms Company. Big famous company there, made a lot of quality weapons, this one being one of their larger productions. We know that this one went to the government because it has some inspector's initials. Let's talk about those for a minute. If you notice, the barrel as well as the stock near the frame have this stamping. That's GWS, and it's cartouche and a stamp to let you know that it was approved for military service. The GWS stands for George W. Sherman. He inspected a lot of these. And there's also another inspector on the stock. You'll notice there's a JM, and that's for James Mills. And he was another inspector for the government. And so you know by those markings that this is one of them that went to the government. They were a popular weapon, had several of them over the years, and some of them will actually have soldiers' names. So we know this is a gun that went into service. This one's pretty. As of right now, it's available on ShilohRelics.com. I hope you go on there and check it out. I've also got some other guns on there. I got I got 100 guns on there. I hope you check them out. I hope you order them all, and I will start over again. I hope you guys are all doing well again. I'm sorry I haven't been able to do as many of these lately. This month's been kind of crazy. My youngest daughter turned 16 today. My oldest daughter is getting married Saturday, and we've got Thanksgiving, so that I've had my distractions. I hope that you guys are all doing well. We've got a lot of sick people out there. I pray for them every day. I hope that everybody is gonna survive this. I was trying to think of something. Sometimes even I run out of things to say, and at the end of these, I try to say something that's encouraging. I had something happen the other day. It's like, that's what it is, and that's what I meant to tell somebody. It's one of the hardest things in the world for me to do. It's very, very hard. When people do an act of kindness for me, or people give me a compliment, I don't know the appropriate way to respond to it. And so I've tried to train myself in the last few years to just shut up and say thank you. And it's very hard. If you notice the carved wood U.S. Piece that looks like a belt buckle, a fella sent it to me. And I'm thankful. But the hardest thing for me is to just shut up and say thank you, because I am so thankful. And I want to tell all of y'all, I'm thankful because so many people have shared these videos. So many people have told me that they'll get together with the family and watch them. And that means a hell of a lot to me, because I'm very fortunate to get to do what I do. I hope that you all are safe. I hope you're all healthy. I hope when you get a chance, you are that positive spark. I hope you're kind to people. I hope you tell the people that are important to you that you care about them and that you appreciate them. Rodney passed the other day, and I got to tell him, it was a year or two ago, and I got to tell him, though, I appreciate all you've ever done for me. And there's so many people we should thank. And then we should be that person that helps other people, because he did. And I hope you guys are well. I'll shut up now and get on. I'm going to try to get a few more videos on in the next few days. Bear with me. I love you guys. I'll catch you next time.